The Monastery. Before the Storm, a story of laziness and awakening. Nestled high in the mountain range of the eastern provinces, surrounded by pine forests and veils of mist, stood a humble Buddhist monastery named Windleaf Temple. Here, a group of young disciples trained in meditation, discipline, and the art of living in harmony with nature and oneself. Among the novices were two young men, Tomo and Riku. Tomo was steady and quiet, his movements purposeful, his mind often deep in contemplation. He woke before dawn to sweep the stone paths, tended the herb garden with care, and studied scriptures with devotion. Riku, on the other hand, was cheerful and likable, but lacked diligence. He was often found lounging under the Bodhi tree, humming to himself, daydreaming, or engaging in light-hearted chatter. Though intelligent, he believed things would always work out somehow. So why rush? One crisp morning, the monastery's abbot, Master Harada, summoned all the disciples to the courtyard. "Soon, the monsoon winds will descend," he said, his eyes scanning the young faces. "Heavy rains will test your shelter, your supplies, and your spirit. Prepare now. Repair your rooms, stock your food, fortify your roofs." The disciples bowed and dispersed. Tomo immediately began repairs to his small hut. He inspected the bamboo roof for cracks, replaced worn thatch, and stacked firewood under cover. He dried herbs and stored food in sealed clay jars. Every day, he checked the sky, adjusted a detail, strengthened a weak corner. Riku, however, stretched lazily under the shade of a tree. "Tomo," he called, "you worry too much. Look at this beautiful sky. The rains won't come so soon." Tomo glanced up with a calm smile. "The blue sky hides its change. When the clouds arrive, it will be too late to build a roof." "Don't be so dramatic," Riku laughed. "We live in a monastery, not a battlefield." And so it went. For days, Tomo worked with quiet persistence. Riku played his bamboo flute, napped, or joined others for idle talk. A few times he picked up tools, but quickly abandoned them, distracted by a butterfly or a passing thought. "Why ruin a good day with labor?" he'd say. But nature has its own rhythm. One night, without warning, thunder cracked the silence. Winds howled like restless spirits through the mountain passes. Then came the rain. Not a gentle drizzle, but sheets of water slamming down from the heavens. The sky, once so calm, now wept with fury. Tomo, safe inside his dry and sturdy hut, lit an oil lamp and sipped warm tea. Rain drummed the roof above, but he remained at peace. Riku, meanwhile, jolted awake as a stream of cold water poured through a gap in his roof. He scrambled up, slipped, cursed. His bedding was soaked, his food spoiled, his lantern extinguished by the wind. He rushed to Tomo's hut, drenched and shivering. Tomo opened the door calmly. "Come in." Riku collapsed by the fire, hugging his knees. "I should have listened," he muttered. "I wasted time. I thought there'd be more warnings, more chances." Tomo placed a dry blanket over his shoulders and poured tea. "The rain doesn't wait for us to be ready," he said softly. "It comes when it comes." Riku didn't sleep that night. As thunder rolled and the wind screamed outside, he sat by the fire, staring into the flames. The next morning, the storm had passed, leaving branches scattered and the forest drenched. Riku walked the monastery grounds, his steps slow and thoughtful. He saw other huts damaged. Some disciples had prepared like Tomo. Others, like him, were caught unready. The difference was stark. That afternoon, he bowed before Master Harada. "Master," he said, "I have lived in comfort, not mindfulness. I ignored your guidance. I see now that laziness isn't peace. It's borrowed time." The old master smiled, his gaze kind. "You have seen the truth. That is already a step into discipline." From that day on, Riku changed. He still smiled and hummed, but now his hands were busy. He rose early, swept the paths, repaired the damage to his own hut, and offered to help others. He studied beside Tomo, asking questions, taking notes. He no longer mocked preparation. He embodied it. One day, as the clouds began to gather again weeks later, Riku was seen sealing the edges of his roof and drying food by the fire. Another novice teased, "Why so serious, Riku? The sky is still clear." Riku grinned. "That's what I said once. Then I spent the night soaked and shaking like a leaf." He turned back to his work, but this time with peace in his heart. The teaching of the story. Laziness often wears the mask of freedom. It tempts us with comfort today, while silently stealing our peace for tomorrow. Those who act when skies are blue sleep peacefully when storms arrive. But those who wait for danger to begin preparing will suffer the weight of their own delay. Discipline is not punishment. It is wisdom. It is the quiet choice to honor the future even when the present seems safe. Life will not always warn us twice. The rains of hardship, loss, and consequence come suddenly. If we build our shelter before the clouds appear, we weather them with grace. So ask yourself, what roof must you build today? What seed must you plant before the earth hardens? What habit must you form before difficulty forces your hand? Prepare now. The sky may be blue, but the storm is always on its way. And when it comes, let your effort, not your regret, be your companion in the night.